This is the Roulette Master, and I'm so excited today to share with you another incredible roulette system from Charles Blackley. He sent in some amazing systems in the past, and this one is no different. He calls this "Shouldn't Work, But It Does," and I can't wait to share it with you. And today we're going to put his incredible new system in a head-to-head matchup with a system I've been using in the casino. This is a safer version of the high-low no-boss, and I can't wait to share with you how I've made it safer. And we're going to get started with that right now. And we're going to start with black for $10 because the last one that hit was 20 black. And let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. Okay, that's a win right off the bat, 35 black. And while we're doing this, we're looking for 3 in a row of a single dozen. But in the meantime, we're going to make some money. We're going to stay on black for 10. This is Follow the Winner in phase 1. Much safer way of playing this than the way I originally played it, and that's a 17 black. That's another win. We're keeping an eye on those the history board there, though, to make sure we don't have 3 in a row of a dozen, and once we do, we'll go to phase 2. That's a 10 black, and we won again. How about that? So let's just stay on black for 10. We're already up $30, and let's go ahead and spin. All right, here we go. Okay, that's a 36 red. And that's a loss. So we're going to go from 10 to 20, and we'll switch to red. And at the same time, we're watching that history to make sure we don't have 3 in a row of a dozen yet. And here we go. That's a 26 black. And we're going to go from 20 to 30. But now we're going to switch to black, and we see there's 2 in a row of the third 12. So we're keeping an eye out here to see if there's 3 right here. And there is. That's a 32 red. So there's our first trigger, and with this system, we remember that we were at 30 and lost, and we go to phase 2, and we put $100 on the other 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and spin. But remember that we were at the $30 bet and lost in phase 1. That's a 16 red. We won. Fantastic. And we'll get to phase 2 of the no boss as well, but we're back to phase 1. And remember, we lost at 30. So now we're back to a $40 bet on red. Follow the winner in phase 1. We're up 70 bucks. But we'll be up more than that here in a second once we can get a win. But temporarily, we have a loss on 4 black. Okay, so we're going to go to $50, and we're going to be on black. And let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. And this is much safer than phase 1 as triple martingale. We lost again on a 00, and that's very unfortunate, but it's okay. We're still in profit, and we're going to put a $60 bet on black now. And let's spin. This is Follow the Winner phase 1, and we got a win. Okay, so when we get a win, we go back a unit. We're going to go to $50 on black. I see we're only up $40, but that's because we need to work our way back down in phase 1. And let's see what we get here. And another 0. Okay, so these zeros would be catastrophic with the triple martingale version of this, but not the way we're playing it today. We're just going to go up to 60. And spin, we're going to go up 1 unit. And let's go ahead and spin. That's a 14 red. We lost, so we go to 70 on red. Eventually, this will work its way back down, but in the meantime, we're looking for our next trigger as well. So let's see what we get here. That's a 16 red. Okay, we won. Now we have 2 in a row of second 12. So we're keeping our eye on that. And we're going to go back to a $60 bet on red. And don't worry, phase 1 will eventually work its way back down. That's a 3 red, and we're getting closer right now. And that's a win. We don't have our trigger yet, so we're going to go down a unit to 50 on red. And when we work our way back down, we'll see the profits from phase 1 and phase 2 start to come to light. Okay, so now all of a sudden we're up $110. That was a $50 bet, so we're going to go back to 40, and let's go ahead and spin. And again, this is a much safer phase 1 than tripling the bet because you could get a bunch of zeros like you just saw there before. And now we're going to go to 50 on black, but keep an eye out on those numbers over there on the history board, because if we get one more high number, we'll have our next trigger. Okay, we did not. That's a 23 red. And we lost, so we go to 60 on red. This is a Follow the Winner system, and I know we're not up a ton yet, but once we work phase 1 back down, if we keep getting wins with phase 2, we're going to make a lot of money, and it's much safer. So we're going to go to a $70 bet on black. And again, if we were betting on 2 dozens, tripling the bet, we could have gotten a lot of trouble with those zeros back there. And that's a 4 black. And we won, and now we see that and we're going to go to 60 on black, down a unit. But now we see that there's 2 in a row of the first 12. If we get another one, we'll have our next trigger. And we do have our next trigger. Okay, fantastic. So remember, we lost at 60 in phase 1, and we're going to put $100 on second and third 12. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. If we lose this, we put $250 on each. And here we go. That's a 29 black. Okay, but we won, so we're back to phase 1, and that's a $70 bet on black. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we're up 70. Let's work our way back down in phase 1 so you can see the profits from phase 2. And that's another 0. Boy, we've had a ton of zeros today. So we're going to go to 80 on black. And don't worry, eventually we're going to get a color streak, and phase 1 is going to work its way back down, and then you're going to see the profits from phase 2 show up. And that's a 22 black. Okay, great. So now we go back to 70 on black. We're currently up $80, and let's go ahead and spin. Eventually we'll get a long color streak, and that's a 36 red. And we lost. We're keeping an eye on the history, and we're going to go from 70 to 80 on red, and let's spin. Eventually we need to get some color streaks, but right now we're losing in phase 1, winning in phase 2. So we're going to go to 90 on black, and that's why you see we're minus 70. We're actually up a lot in phase 2. Phase 1, we're down. But it's a safer version, and we lost that one. So now we're going to go to 100 on red. You can see we're minus 160, up in phase 2, down in phase 1, but phase 1 will eventually come back. That's a 19 red. Okay, now we have 2 in a row, second 12. We're going to go down a unit to 90, and let's hope we get a red color streak here. That would be fantastic. Come on, red. All right, that's an 18 red. Okay, we have our next bet. Remember, our next bet, though, in phase 1 will be $80 because we were at 90 and we won. So we're going to go to first and third for 100 each. If we lose this, we'll put $250 on each. Here we go. That's a 35 black, and we won. So now we're back to that $90 bet. We're up $130, and we'll be on black. We need to switch back to $10 units. And we'll have a $90 bet on black, and let's spin. Let's see if we can get a black color streak now. We did not. That's a 23 red. So we'll switch to a $100 bet on red, keeping an eye over there. We're only up 40, but that's because phase 1 is down a lot. Phase 2 is up a lot. And eventually phase 1 will recover. And that is a loss. So we're going to go to 110 on black. And let's spin. And usually phase 1 will be doing much better than this, so keep that in mind. Okay, that's a 5 red, and the choppiness is not helping us right now. We have 2 in a row of first 12. We're going to go to a $120 bet on red, follow the winner, and eventually we're going to get a long color streak. Okay, here we go. But right now it's just hurting us really badly. But we have our next trigger. So we're going to put $100 on second and third. If we lose these, then we're going to put $250 on each. Here we go. And we did lose both of them. So now we're going to put $250 on each. Okay, and usually you win this bet because it takes 5 in a row of a single dozen for you to lose. So let's get a win right here on second and third 12, and we got the win, 35 black. Okay, fantastic. So now all of a sudden we go back to phase 1, but we're minus 240 because phase 1 has been doing so bad. And try to remember where you were at in phase 1. Let's see, I think we were at 130. So we're going to be on black now. And let's go ahead and do that and spin. All right, here we go. Okay, that's a 33 black. That's good. Okay, so we'll go to 120, and we almost have our next trigger again. 120 on black. Let's spin. But we lost that one. That's a 12 red. Okay, so we'll go to 130 on red. And usually this one up, one down works a lot better than it is today. But let's see if we can get it to come back for us here. That's a 3 red. Okay, we have 2 in a row. We might have another trigger here soon. So we won at 130. We're going to go back to 120 on red and spin. And once we get up a lot, it'll be time to cash out. That's a 25 red. Okay, $120 win. Now we're back up again. We're going to have a $110 bet now on red. Same time, we'll be looking at the triggers over there. And here we go. That's a loss on 24 black. Okay, we don't have 2 in a row. That's the second and third. So you can see on that last one there, we were at 110. We lost. We're going to be at 120. We need to move to black. Follow the winner. And you could also do this on opposites, and we'd be doing much better if we did that, but you never know. Okay, that's a 34 red there. Okay, we lost, so we're going to go to 130 on red. And this is not going great, but it can come back in an instant if we get a color streak. So here we go. Man, we just keep hitting opposites this entire time. We're going to go to 140 on black now. And let's spin. So phase 2 has been doing really well. Phase 1 has not. And that's I don't know how many zeros we've had, but it's been a lot. We're going to go to 150 on black. All right, let's go ahead and spin. There we go. That's a 36 red. And we just keep losing time after time after time. Now we're going to be at 160 on red. And let's go ahead and spin. And this is the first time testing this where I've seen this happen with the 1 up, 1 down, where you lose every spin. And we're at 170 now on black. So maybe the original way I played is better if this happens, but this is safer usually than tripling the bet. But let's see if we can come back. That's a 170 win. We're going to be at 160 now on black. And surely eventually we'll have a color streak. This has been ridiculous. And we just keep losing, guys. And we're going to be at 170 on red. And since we're at 170 and we're going 1 up, 1 down, you realize what that means, right? We've lost, I mean, it's only $10 per loss, and we lost again. So now we're at 180. That means we have lost 18 more times than we've won, which is insane when we're playing even money. So this is not normal, and usually this is going to go a lot better for you. And we just lose every spin. So now we're at 190 on red. Let's check our balance. And we've lost half of our bankroll. We're at 1,130 in losses. And this is ridiculous. That's a 23 red. Okay, we're going to go to 180 on red. Let's eventually see if we can get some wins, because we've basically lost everything that we've put out there. And that's a 28 black. We lost again. We'll look for our next trigger. We'll be back up to 190 on red. And we're going to need a color streak of eight or so in a row to really get us way ahead again. And think about this. So we're at 200 on red. That means we've lost 20 more times than we have won. And that is insane when we're playing even money. So it can happen, though. It's showing you right now that it can definitely happen. Let's see if we can get one more color streak before this ends. We're at 190 on red. And then we'll get to that new system of the day. Maybe you should play it the way I was playing it. I haven't had this happen to me in the casino yet. But now I know that it's possible. So we're going to go to 180 now on red. And here we go. So you can play it either way. The tripling the bet, playing 2 dozens, or doing this. This was doing really well for me, but in testing today, obviously this is not going well. So let's go to 190 and spin, and here we go. So the no boss portion of this has been doing fantastic, and we haven't lost one of those. So We're going to be at 180 now on red. We're finally getting a color streak, but that 0 didn't help us there. And let's see if we can continue here. Okay, there's a 27 red. Okay, that's good. So we'll go to 170 on red. Now we're finally getting a color streak, but it's been way too long. And that's another win, 36 red. Okay, so we're at minus 560. We'll go to 160 now. Oops, I went the wrong way. So we'll go to 160 on red. Up one, down one. Usually works a lot better than this, but we're finally getting some wins. And that's a 20 black there. That's a loss. So let's here's what to take from this because the 15 minutes is up. I think we're up about $500 on phase 2, which is the no boss, and which means we're probably down about $1,200 on one up, one down on $10 units, which is insane. So I mean that means we just lost way more than we won with even money bets. So the original way of playing this, if you don't want to play it this way, is to do phase 1 with 2 dozens and triple the bet, starting with $5 bets. That has worked very well for me as well. But this usually is a safer way to play, one up, one down in phase 1, but not today. So you decide and let me know in the comments what you guys think is better, and that would be fantastic. But phase 2, the no boss strategy, worked incredible today, and it's been doing fantastic for me at the casino as well. Now it is time for the roulette system of the day from Charles Blackley, who has sent in some amazing systems in the past, and I can't wait to share this one with you. So let's jump right in and get started. Here we go. All right, the time is finally here for the new roulette system of the day from Charles Blackley. This shouldn't work, but it does, and I can't wait to share it with you. Let's get started and place the bets. We're going to have a $1 bet on the 6 and the 10, and then we're going to have a $4 bet on the 1, 4, and the 7, 10 corners, just like that. And then we're also going to have a $4 bet on the 2024 corner, just like that, and a 2932 corner as well. And then we're going to have a $2 bet on the 2225. Okay, this is a $20 total bet. This is Shouldn't Work, But It Does by Charles Blackley. And here we go. That's a 23 red. Okay, that's a $16 win to start. So we're up 16 bucks. We're just going to go ahead and rebet and spin. And here we go. Okay, so $4 on all those corners, $1 on the singles, and then 2 on that split. That's a $20 bet, another $16 win. So we're up 32. Let's go ahead and rebet and spin. And here we go. Okay, that's a 4 black. Another $16 win. Okay, great start. We're up $48. Let's rebet and spin again. Here we go. All right, that's an 11 black. Okay, that's a $16 win as well. We're up $64. And again, you can see we have 4 corner bets out there. We have 2 single bets and then a split. Let's go ahead and spin again. And I'll share with you the recovery process on this because he says it shouldn't work, but it does. And he says it works time and time again. So we're not going to increase the bet when we lose with this one yet. And I'm going to share with you why here in a second. That's a 10 black. And look at that. That's a $52 jackpot win there. Now we're up $96. And then once we have, I'll share with you when we do increase the bets coming up. That's a 28 black. Okay, we're going to count our losses. We're not going to increase. That's 1 loss. And let's go ahead and spin. This is a really safe progression. And that's a 30 red. And that's a nice $16 win. So we're up $92. And we start counting again. If we win, the count starts over. And again, this is a very non-aggressive progression, but he says it works. And we're up $108. Let's rebet and spin. But this is also the kind of system that's going to keep your bankroll and let you play for long periods of time. And that's a 20. And that's a nice win. So we're up $124. And let's rebet and spin. And here we go. That's a 31 black. Okay, we lost that one. We're not going to increase. We're just going to count our losses. That's 1 loss. And here we go. That's a 25 red. And we got the win on the split there. We're up $120. We're just going to rebet and spin. And you can see we haven't even increased the bet yet once. But I'll let you know when it's time to do that. And that's a 6 black. That's a $16 win as well. We're up $136. And here we go again. And we have a little bit over half the numbers covered here. There's 19 numbers. And that's a 12 red. We lost. And all we're going to do is count our losses. So we have one loss, and let's spin. This is Shouldn't Work, But It Does by Charles Blackley, and that's a 24 black. And that's a 16 red. And anytime you win, we're up 132. Anytime you win, you reset your count. And let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. That's a 35 black. Okay, we lost that one. So we're not going to increase. We're going to count our losses. That's one loss. That's a 10 black. Fantastic. That's another jackpot. That's 52 bucks. We're up 164. That's fantastic. And here we go again. That's a 2 black. Another $16 win. Okay, we're up 180. And here we go. And Charles says that after you test this out, he'll let you all know why it does work. But he says he realizes that that it looks like it shouldn't, but it does. And we're up 196. Let's rebet and spin. But I love how the non-aggressive way of this this progression. We're not going to be increasing very much with this, but we're going to count our losses. We have one loss, and then I'll share with you when it's time to increase. And here we go. That's a 13 black. That's 2 losses. So we're going to rebet and spin. We still have not increased the bets. Okay, that's a 5 red. And we got the win. And we still do not increase. We're up 172. And let's spin again. Once we get to the point where we increase, I'll let you know. But isn't it fantastic that we don't have to increase the bets all the time? That's another 16. We're up 188. All right, let's rebet and spin. Here we go. Okay, that's a 19 red. Okay, let's start counting our losses again. 1 loss and spin. Here we go. That's a 34 red. Okay, 2 losses. So let's rebet and spin. Let's see what we get here. That's a 36 red. Okay, 3 losses. That's when we double the bet. So we're going to go ahead now, and we doubled the bet, and let's go ahead and spin. And once you get to where you're doubling the bet now, we're going to stay at this bet level until we're in session profits. You can see before that, and we're only up 88 now, we're counting again. So that's 1 loss. And let's spin. Okay, that's a 33 black. Okay, we got the win, but we are not in session profit. So we're just going to keep it at 40 and spin again, but we start the count over. And here we go. That's a 9 red. Okay, we lost that one. So we're going to rebet and spin, and we're counting the losses. Here we go again. That's a 32 red. Okay, we got the win. We are not in session profit, so we keep the bet the same and start counting again. Here we go. That's a 23 red. That's a nice $32 win. We're up 144. We're not in session profit, so we're just going to start counting again right here. That's an 8 black. Fantastic. $32 win. We're up 176. So now we're going to go back to where we started at $20. And let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. So far so good with this one. I love how we're not increasing the bets very much. And we lost that one. So we'll just count our losses again. We currently have 1 loss. And let's spin. Okay, that's a 19 red. We lost again. We have 2 losses. If we get a third, we'll double the bet. And then once you double the bet, you stay there till you're in session profit. Okay, that's an 11 black. We got the win. So now we're up 152, and we still have not increased, so we're still where we're at, and we just rebet and spin. Okay, here we go. But once you do double the bet, you stay there till you're in session profit, and that's a 14 red. That's 1 loss. We'll rebet and spin here. And again, Charles says this shouldn't work, but it does. And I love how it's not aggressive. And you could play this for a long period of time. There's 2 losses. If we get a third, we'll double the bet. And then once we double the bet, we'll stay at that bet level until we're in session profit, and that's a 26 black. Okay, we lost 3 in a row. So we double the bet. And now that we've doubled the bet, we stay at 40 until we get back in session profit. And that's a 30 red. That's a $32 win. We're up 124. Let's stay at 40 here and get ourselves back to session profit. Okay, that's a 9 red. Okay, we'll start counting again. That's 1 loss and spin. Here we go. Okay, that's a 4 black. Okay, that's a win. We're not in session profit, so we rebet and spin at $40 level. But I love how the bets have never been high with this. That's awesome. And that's a 35 black. We'll start counting our losses again here and spin. And let's see if we get a second loss right here. Okay, that's a 19 red. There's 2 losses. If we get a third loss here, we'll go from 40 to 80, and then we'll stay there until we get to session profit. That's a 34 red. And we did lose 3 in a row. So we're going to double the bet from 40 to 80 and spin. And now we're going to stay at this $80 bet until we're in session profit, which is the highest amount of profit for the day. And that's a 26 black. We're going to start counting again. Okay, now we're at our second $80 bet, and let's spin. Okay, that's a 12 red. Okay, if we lose this next one, that'll be 3 in a row again, and we will go to 160 on the bets. And here we go. That's a 21 red. We finally got a win, but we can see we're down now. That was a ton of losses, but we're going to stay at this $80 level until we get in session profit. That's a 10 black, and that's a good one. That's a $208 win. Now we're back up 108. And again, we're going to stay at this $80 bet until we're in session profit, which is the highest amount of profit since we've started, and that's a 33 black. There we go. That's a $64 win. We're up 172, and now we can go back to our $20 bet. So let's go ahead and do that. And spin. And this is Shouldn't Work, But It Does by Charles Blackley. And here we go. That's an 18 red. That's a $20 loss. And let's spin. We'll count our losses again. We'll see if we get our second loss right here. That's a 30 red. And that's a $16 win. We're up 168. And until you increase the bet to 40, if you get a win, you just restart. That's a 9 red. Okay, that's a loss. We'll start counting those losses again and spin. And here we go. That's a 1 red. Okay, we start counting again. We're up 164. If you're at $20 level and you get a win, you just reset. Okay, that's a 26 black. Okay, that's 1 loss. We'll rebet and spin. Okay, here we go. That's an 18 red. 2 losses. If we get a third loss here, we'll go to 40 and then stay at that level until we're in session profit. That's a 13 black. That's 3 losses in a row, which gets us down to 104 profit. So we double the bet to 40, and we stay at 40 until we get to that next profit level. And that's a 36 red there. Okay, we lost. So let's go ahead and spin again. We'll see if we get loss number 2 right here. That's a 4 black. Okay, that's a win, which helps, and we're up 96. But we're going to stay at this $40 level till we get back up to where we were. And another double zero. My goodness. Okay, so we'll start counting again. That's 1 loss, and let's spin. Let's get a win right here. And that's a 21 red. Okay, nice $32 win. We're up 88, and we stay at 40 till we get in a session profit. All right, here we go. Don't hit the 0. That hit the 2 black. That should be a win. All right, we're back up 120. We'll rebet and spin, see if we can get some consecutive wins here. And that's a 36 red. That's a loss, so we start counting again. That's 1 loss. And let's spin. Here we go. That's a 33 black. Okay, that's a good win. But we're not in session profit, as you can see, so we just stay at 40 and rebet and spin. That's a 13 black. We lost that one. We'll start counting again. And here we go. I love how we're not doubling after each loss with this one. I think that's really nice. And that's a 16 red. That's 2 losses. We're waiting for a third to double the bet. And that makes it so much safer. And here we go. That's a 34 red. That's 3 losses in a row. We're going to double the bet from 40 to 80 and spin. And now we just need to get some wins at 80 and get ourselves back up there in profit. That's a 30 red. Okay, that's a $64 win. We're up 56. Let's see if we can get some consecutive wins and a nice little win streak going. That's a 21 red. That's a $64 win. We're up 120. And let's get another win right here. Okay, that's a 7 red. Another $64 win. We're up 184. And actually, that's the 15 minutes, guys. So in 15 minutes, we made $184 with Shouldn't Work, But It Does by Charles Blackley. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this. It was very pleasant to not have to double the bet after each loss. I think that's fantastic. And look forward to hearing more from you, Charles. And everybody else, let me know down in the comments what you think of this a system that's not very aggressive, but seems to work really well. And that would be fantastic. That's what it's all about, is searching for the best roulette system each and every day, testing it out, and sharing your results with the community. And I love that. And if you're enjoying the process with me and everyone else, please like, share, and subscribe. And let's keep growing this community of people that love roulette. This is the Roulette Master, and have a great day, everybody.